What's up, folks? Maximilian here, and welcome back to another Call of Duty video. So, over the past couple of days, I have had my chance to get back into some Black Ops 2 over the past couple of weeks with the holidays around. I literally barely had any time to play, and the last most or biggest session I had was when the double XP weekend was going on around the, I think that was the beginning of December, something like that. Either way, I had not really gotten the chance to splurge all over the Christmas noobs to boost your KD like a mother. I just missed out on all of that, and it seems like they're all gone, or the game just refuses to matchmake me with them. So over the past couple of days, however, when I'm getting into Black Ops 2, I was like, okay, let's get some gameplay in here. Let's show off some guns, stuff like that. However, over the past couple of days, the condition of Black Ops 2 has seemed to have become in an even worse state than it was before. So I hate to make gripe videos about what's going on, and a lot of the times it's an issue with like the game itself, but as many of you guys have heard me before, Black Ops 2 I think is one of the best Call of Duties out there. Like, as far as the gameplay and the balance of weapons, I think it's really good, and I think it might be one of the best ones ever, like close to the original Call of Duty 4. However, the matchmaking and the experience of playing the game online with people is the worst of them all. So, what's going on, and let me break it down for you guys. A lot of you guys don't see this, because you see all these games of me doing extremely good, and like, oh, Max is crying because he's not going 101 every single game. Totally not the case. I am quote-unquote crying because I want to experience the same game that everybody else is experiencing. And to get some perspective on this, I kind of cut my Black Ops 2 session short after a couple of hours of attempting to get into a game that I felt would be quote-unquote playable. Something that at least feels like I'm losing for purposes outside of the game and the connection. Because I have no problem somebody shooting me and I die. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I want to see the exact situation that happened as it happened, not something that happened a quarter of a second to a half a second ago. And a great example of this is when you put in Call of Duty 4. So let's run some Call of Duty 4 footage. Let's watch all this stuff, what's going on here. I didn't have an amazing night of Call of Duty 4 at all. However, the games that I did have amongst the 300 people in the few playlists that are still playing the game, there wasn't any hackers, there wasn't any glitchers. It was an enjoyable evening for the most part. And it's much an enjoyable evening because the game just felt right. I never really even had a 4-bar connection for most of the playtime I was going through. I had like a 3-bar connection. I was looking up where the host was from. It's from like the middle of the US, sometimes the East Coast, sometimes in freaking Europe. All of these games felt great. That's the saddest part of this, is that all of these games, whether or not the connection was bad or extremely good, all of them felt fantastic, and even in situations of extreme lag, people and the gunfights I was getting into felt on even ground, for the most part. Sure, you might go like 20-5, and that's a great game to a lot of people, but for me that's an awesome game, but it's nothing like noteworthy. It's not like making a commentary off of like a 20-5 domination gameplay. But some of those games, you're just like running around with a shotgun, and it just feels so infinitely amazing. With all the glitz and all the glam that the Call of Duty series has gotten, and all the little score streaks, and the inclusion of all these perks, and all like adding attachments to weapons, and ridiculous amounts of stuff that they can keep packing into this thing that's essentially a modification of Call of Duty 4. It's kind of insane how we've gotten to the point where the last 3 Call of Duties have forgotten what the best part of Call of Duty 4 is. And it seems that the audience has as well, because the sales figures for Black Ops 2 aren't nearly as good as the previous years. And I think that's a really good thing. I don't want there to be 6 million people playing Call of Duty if the game's gonna run like ass. Like, that's exactly what I don't want. This is coming from a guy who has the perspective of playing these games since Call of Duty 4, and just wanting to relive that again. Modern Warfare 2 might have been complete bullshit for reasons that were game-related, but the actual connectivity between the players wasn't that bad, and it was only a little worse than COD4. I'd actually say the one that had some of the best connections for me personally was the original World at War. Now, a lot of you guys are complaining, well, Max, you should upgrade your mom's internet, or something ridiculous like that. I actually purchased 2 dedicated internet providers. I have one that is for my Xbox that I pay for, and I have another that is for just regular everything else I do on my computer, because I have a lot of work that I have to do from home. So when that time comes to play Xbox games, it's not like dealing with a torrent or dealing with anything else happening in the background. No, it's a modem that is going directly into the freaking system, and that's it. That's all it does. And over the last couple of days with Black Ops 2, that I've tried to play it and get some decent gameplay, every game I've gotten into, either the game becomes very jittery, as if like there's hiccups all the time, or like the action just stops and everyone runs really fast for a second, and I'm like, what is this? Other things where I'll give you an example, a video example here, where you die in a bullet. This happens a lot in Black Ops 2. This is kind of the big reason. This is the big problem with this game. This doesn't happen in any other Call of Duty. I was talking about this when I was discussing the metagame and how Black Ops 2 ruins the metagame. This is the perfect example of it. When you look at these clips and you see me die in an absolute heartbeat, and how did I even have a chance in a situation like this if I was like pre-firing? You guys will really notice this, especially for you guys that like to run higher end score streaks and have a little bit of perspective from the first Black Ops. If you get a Blackbird or the orbital VSAT in this one, and you know exactly where your enemy position is, you hardly ever lost a gunfight in the original Black Ops because of it. In Black Ops 2, if you get an orbital VSAT and you know a guy's coming around a corner, there's a real good chance you might lose that gunfight. A real good one. Even in situations where you know your opponent is about to turn a corner and you know there's going to be a guy there, so you prone, you get ready to shoot, and he just turns and shoots you, like, immediately, like you were just standing right in front of him and there was no problem to him at all. After playing Modern Warfare 2 and some Call of Duty 4, I wanted to test these scenarios, these little situations. Like, does this happen, man? Do I have to, like, if I prone behind an area and I know a guy is going to show up because he's rushing and he's being crazy, I always kill them in COD4 and MW2. Like, that person almost always died unless I missed. And in these situations, it's like I didn't even have a chance to shoot. How is that even fair? So a lot of you guys might be asking, well, this goes for you as well. Like, you get the advantage on some people get the advantage on you. Okay, I mean, I guess if that's how Call of Duty is going to be, that you run a game of chance of whether or not you're going to be under a good connection or not, that's not good game design. It's not a fun game either. I think when it comes to these games, the day that Call of Duty will eventually get back on track to being such an amazing shooting series is when we can finally play people on even ground and play something that feels similar to Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare 2. So seems like a big griping video, and it kind of is, because it's hard for me not to talk about this stuff, guys, and it's really hard for me to avoid this, because I'm not going to, like I said before, ride the tails of a game that I think is just completely busted with one of the most basic functionalities. And the only reason I'm making this is because I'm passionate about it. I like these games a lot. I really enjoy some of the game design by Call of Duty, and it's fun. It's extremely fun, and it's extremely fun the fact that you can go back to older games and have it be totally awesome whether or not you're winning or losing. When you lose in games, that is something beyond your control, especially online, something that is beyond your physical aptitude that you have behind a controller to take advantage of a situation, and you lose. Those are the moments that make me really despise this game and make me want to get the 10th prestige and go back to playing Modern Warfare 2 and get people on Call of Duty 4 again, because it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, and I only hope that eventually this stuff gets to the eyes and ears of people that design and make these games, because as of right now, it seems all the people that have been having these huge issues with this stuff is falling on deaf ears, and we're almost getting to the point where it's 2 months past the game being out, and we've seen maybe one balance patch for some guns, and that was it. Matchmaking, everything else, still the exact same. Spawning is still pretty bad. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, well, are they just taking their money and they're running? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Sure, you guys are they're banning 10th prestige, hackers and stuff like that. That's cool. But that doesn't affect me. Like, that doesn't personally affect the player. That affects people that are upset that, people are getting ahead of them quicker. I don't care. Like, your skill is not determined by how high of prestige you are. If anything has taught you that from playing previous Call of Duty. So, my apologies for the rant, guys. If you did enjoy, or if you did have a couple of topics in this video that you agree or disagree with, I'd like to hear your comments below. Keep it civilized, as much as I try to keep things civilized when it comes to having gripes about games. I think discussing them with people and making it publicly aware is the best way to go, because there's no way things are going to change if you don't do anything. Be the change you want to see, and hopefully we will see Black Ops 2 in a better state at some point in its lifetime, or unless we're gonna have to wait for the next Call of Duty to come out. But thanks very much for watching, guys. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.